The ROI, the return on investment, has always been my business, and I'm gonna have you consider that for yourself. Your number one ROI is your business. The market's good, the demand is great, the commissions are awesome, right? And you're thinking, okay, what do I do with this cash? And I've been through this cycle probably about 3 or 4 times since I got into this business in 2004. And every time, I've always looked for something to invest in. When I came into this amount of money, all of a sudden I was like, okay, I need to invest in somewhere because I need this security later on. So I need to take this money and invest it in stocks or a 401k. I need to take this money and do some real estate investments. I need to take this money and invest into a franchise, okay? Because I had this extra money. And some of you are feeling like that right now, where you've done the right things and you have this excess amount of money and you're like, what do I do with it? And this is a conversation I almost have like weekly, guys. I'll get phone calls, not only from my clients, but from you stating, hey, what do I do with this money? Should I invest in this real estate game? For example, I just got a call last week. It says, hey Z, I just want your opinion. I know you've invested a lot. You bought some real estate. Hey, well, I came into this opportunity. I'm buying this house for $150,000. It's worth like $200,000. And I only have to put like, I don't know, $10,000, $15,000. And understand, when you guesstimate $10,000, $15,000 and you never actually gone through the gamut, it's usually not $10,000 or $15,000. And then we don't take into consideration other costs. Now let's do some simple math, because I want you to consider this for yourself, all right? And I'm also going to give you what you should be doing right now. And I'm not trying to discourage you. What I'm trying to say here is, just because we have real estate licenses doesn't mean we necessarily are real estate investors. There's real estate investors, like venture capitalists, like stockbrokers, that are involved with that game 100%. Now, if you want to start going down that route, that's fine. But understand there's going to be some hard lessons to learn, especially if you don't have a construction crew. Especially if you haven't been through the gamut before, there's going to be a lot of learning lessons. And right now may be the case. But I'm just going to tell you through my experience what I've done when I've had excess money. So I would look at these opportunities. I was like, wow, there's like 50, 60,000 in like income to make. But I didn't take into consideration, like, one, I didn't have the $150,000, $200,000 like saved up to go ahead and just buy the whole thing full, right? So usually I would have to get a loan. And some of these homes are not like compliant with conventional loans or FHA. So guess what? I had to go hard money. I have to go hard money loan on these things. So now I'm thinking, okay, well, it's $150,000. So let me see here. A hard money loan, they only require 25%. Some of you may be able to get it for 20%. That's fine. All right, I only have to come up with $37,500. Oh, dude, that's perfect. There's like $50,000 of gains in this thing. So I would go out there and scramble to get $37,500. Then I was like, well, the house only needs like 10 to 15. So now I'm looking at $47,500. Now I'm looking like $45,000 to $50,000 in money I have to put out of my pocket. So now I'm putting down $50,000. I'm getting a loan, and then I didn't consider this. Like, hard money people need to get paid. Guys, like, they need to get paid. And guess what? They're usually charging 2 to 3 points and an interest rate between 10 and 14%. And one thing I didn't consider is that, like, I'm doing the simple math that there's 50 to 60,000, but I didn't see what it's going to cost for me to actually go down this path. So first of all, I have to put $50,000 in my own pocket in the hopes to make $50,000. But here's the thing I didn't consider: monthly payments on my hard money loan. For at minimum, guys, I don't care how fast you fix it. If you're in that price range, be prepared for certain rules that we may not be aware of, like the 90-day FHA rule. Like, you can't even sell at FHA, which usually under 200,000, you're gonna find an FHA buyer. That's just the reality of it. We could hope for a conventional or a loan buyer, or a cash buyer. But the odds are, if you do your due diligence, you'll find that people in this price range are usually FHA. So you have to hold on to it regardless of how fast you fixed it. At minimum, 90 days. And guess what? With FHA, you're looking at another 45 days or so after marketing, especially if you want the high end of it. So now you're at 90 days plus 2 weeks, let's say that you have it on the market. If you have it priced right, maybe you'll get it in the first week. I don't know. But let's just say 2 weeks to a month. Now you're looking at 4 months holding on to this thing. Then you have to make sure that the buyer has their own closing funds, because if you don't, they're gonna request that from you. 3% of your net gains for their closing costs, plus your closing costs. So now, like, I didn't see this. Like, this was something that I didn't comprehend. Like I said, I only saw the number. Hey, it's 200, it's 150 that I'm getting for, but it's worth 200. I had it in my mind that it's $50,000 going into my pocket. But what I didn't understand is all the little cost, the stress associated with that game. So after all is said and done, I was like, okay, I made my money. It turns out that I only made 30,000. Well, that's good, right? $30,000 on a flip. And then we discredit all the stress. Like we forget about all the stress we went through, about all the problems we went through, paying everybody off. All right, I made 30. That was pretty good. Yeah, I mean, my original assessment was 50,000, 50 to 60, but hey, 30,000, who doesn't want 30,000? Oh yeah, and then I have to pay Uncle Sam. Okay, so maybe it wasn't 30, it was like 20. Well, 20 is good. 6 months. Took me 6 months to sell this bad boy, but who doesn't want an additional $20,000? Well, let's break that down. Some of us get so passionate, like we get so excited about being able to get a house as an investment, right? We get really excited about this game. My question to you is, imagine what would have happened if you would have invested that same money into your number one investment. And I'm going to tell you what your number one investment is. Your business. From day one, no other source of investment has paid out the amount of dividends that your business has. For some of you, it's $100,000 a year, $200,000, $300,000, $500,000, $750,000. That's what your investment is producing. And yet, whenever we have these profits, and I used to do this all the time, so I would invest in my marketing, I would invest in my sales and systems, I would invest in all these things, and it would produce money, real money. Then I would take that money and invest it in something else, like a franchise or a real estate flip. Because for some reason, I didn't think that my business was my investment. We're trained from a very young age to keep those separately. That your business is your business and an investment is a strategy to someday in the future retire. What I'm saying is that your business is your number one investment. Like this other thing that you don't know about, these 401ks, these flips are not your number one investment. If you were to take that same number, that same amount of money and put it into your real estate game, what do you think that would have done? Because if we break down, let's say you do make the $30,000 in 6 months. $30,000 in 6 months. That comes out to about $5,000 more per month. So what you did is you took your focus off your number one investment that gave you the money to begin with to invest in this property. Took all that focus and put it into something that we really don't know about, right? I'm gonna have you consider that you're not really an investor. I wasn't really an investor. And I had at one time, I had 30 properties in my name, but I wasn't really a real estate investor. I was a business owner the entire time. And when I calculate everything that I've made in my real estate investments versus the money that I've made through this game of business, through being a real estate agent, and now running a brokerage, I'll tell you what, the ROI, the return on investment, has always been my business. And I'm gonna have you consider that for yourself. Your number one ROI is your business.